So a little while ago, I did a video about the 7 reasons why you should drive for Lyft and Uber, especially for entrepreneurs or musicians or basically anybody having a creative or business pursuit. Driving Lyft and Uber is a great way to make side cash and on your own time. And I got a lot of questions basically asking me, hey, do you have any suggestions of ways to make more money with Lyft and Uber? Like any tricks or tips or, just techniques overall to maximize your income and your earnings with Lyft and Uber. So for this video, I basically spent a lot of time trying to figure out the best ones that I use. So for this video, I'm going to basically talk about the 7 best techniques to make more money while driving for Lyft and Uber. Number 1, only drive during the surge hours. Now this hands down is the biggest one that I can possibly say, just because if you think about it, when it comes to Lyft and Uber, there are a lot of other weird expenses that pop up, in terms of, paying for gas and more maintenance on your car and all these different things. And the truth is, I truly believe that if you only drive in non-surge hours, basically you only drive during, the non-peak times, like say Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for example, I don't think you can make a lot of money driving Lyft and Uber. If anything, you might just break even. But driving during the surge hours, which is basically the morning commutes, so 7 to 9 a.m., basically the evening commutes, so 5 to 7 p.m., Friday and Saturday nights, and Saturday and Sunday during the day are great times to make a lot of money. Obviously, if you want to maximize how much you can possibly earn, I found for me that doing the morning commutes and Friday and Saturday nights were the most, basically the most optimal times you could drive. Obviously, for me being a DJ, driving on a Friday and Saturday night is obviously a bit more tricky, especially if I have gigs or whatever going on. But honestly, doing the morning commutes, you can make a lot of money driving for them. Number 2, post your referral code everywhere. Now, in case you don't know what this referral code is, when you sign up with Lyft and Uber, if you refer somebody to them to drive for them, you make a commission off of that. Now, I want to say that make sure you read the terms very carefully. For example, with Lyft, the person has to do a certain amount of rides within a certain period of time. So for example, it's like they have to do 30 rides within 30 days, for example, or else you get nothing. With Uber, I believe it's, at least at the time of this video, they have to do 45 rides at any point in time. So remember that if you do refer somebody, even if they do sign up, they have to do a certain amount of rides, and with Lyft, doing it within a certain period of time in order for you to get your commission. But I'm telling you, I've even gotten commissions when I've referred people to Lyft and Uber as high as $500, which is ridiculous, And I'm gonna give you a couple, tricks and tips a bit later on in this video of how to do this. But overall, post your referral code everywhere. Even make deals with people. I even know, look for a period of time, was doing a deal where if you sign somebody up, they get a $300 bonus and you get a $300 bonus. So basically it's like a win-win for everybody, right? So a big thing I'd say is if there is a huge referral bonus going on, post it on Facebook, Twitter, text it to people, and just try to get it out there as much as you possibly can. Number 3, start a Lyft and Uber blog or YouTube channel. Now, this is a very underlooked one. Here's the reason why. When it comes to ad space and ad revenue, especially on YouTube, certain topics make more money than others. For example, expensive DJ equipment is going to have more lucrative ad space, meaning if someone clicks on it, you get paid more, as opposed to, say, how to do a really good push-up, right? Because the ad space for expensive equipment is obviously really high because it's thousands of dollars for one piece of equipment. However, though, when it comes to something like Lyft and Uber, that ad space is also extremely high. So if you do a bunch of videos about Lyft and Uber, you can make a lot of money on the ad revenue. There's a lot of channels out there, that talk about whether it's educational stuff, they give you a lot of, tricks and tips and whatnot. And there's other channels that talk about entertainment. There's one channel that I know of that all the guy does is he drives Lyft and Uber, and at the end of every day, he does a 3 to 4 minute recap of the people that he drove. And it's basically just a very interesting thing about his life and the interesting Lyft and Uber rides that he has. And not only does he make a lot of money off the videos in terms of the ad revenue, but he posts his referral code everywhere. Like I was saying in number 2, the more you can get your referral code out there, obviously the more people are going to click on it and the more commission you're going to make. So if you, say, start a Lyft or, Uber, say, YouTube channel, and you get 100,000 subscribers, that's a lot of people watching your videos, and not only that, but a lot of people click on your links to sign up or do whatever they want to do. And that's a great way to make side cash in numerous different areas. Number 4, check the bonus structures. So this can definitely vary a lot in the time of year, to random promotions they're having, to even where you're located. For example, in Boston, with Lyft, they actually have hourly guarantees sometimes. So they'll say, hey, you know what? If you drive this week from 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, we'll guarantee you minimum $25 an hour. If you make less than that $25, we'll still bump up your pay to equal that $25 an hour. which is awesome, right? I remember though in LA though, they didn't have that. So it can definitely vary from where you're located. In addition, on big holidays like St. Patrick's Day or New Year's Eve or, Halloween or whatever the case is, they also will do deals and offers. So make sure to always check the Lyft websites and the Uber websites. I also suggest make sure that your phone number is correctly, attached to them, because the Lyft and Uber will obviously message you actually. Like I even get text alerts sometimes saying, hey, you know what, this weekend we'll guarantee you this and this an hour. Or what Uber does now is they'll say, hey, you know what, this weekend we're guaranteeing you minimum 1.5 surge, meaning that no matter when you're driving, it's always going to be a 1.5 surge. So it's a great way to basically add more money on top of your already producing income. Number 5, promote your side business. Now this is a very underlooked topic of Lyft and Uber. If you think about it, it'd be random, or I'd say weird, if you went up to someone random on the street and said, hey, you know what, I have this thing, check it out. And they're like, who are you, why are you talking to me, right? But in a Lyft and Uber, it is almost an unspoken rule that you're going to have a conversation with somebody. You're going to be having casual side talk about the weather, or what you do, or what you do as a job, or whatever the case is, right? So if you have a side business or a side hustle, with me being a DJ, I would always talk about my DJ music. Like people would always ask me almost every time, so you drive for Lyft and Uber, do you do anything else, or is this your full-time income? And I'd say, oh, actually I'm a DJ music producer. And a lot of times people are like, oh, well, do you have a link to your music? I'd love to check it out. So I literally hand them my cards, which obviously I'd always have on me, my business cards, for them to check out my SoundCloud link or my music or whatever the case is. I even heard about a story about a real estate agent who actually drove Lyft and Uber, and every single person got in the car, he said, hey, just obviously later on in the conversation, hey, just I'm actually a real estate agent. If you and your friends is either buying a house or looking for an apartment to rent, here's my card, feel free to hit me up, why not? And that's a great way to get yourself in front of a lot of different people and not have to be forced or awkward. So if you say have a side business, or you're a musician as well, or you're a blogger or whatever the case is, definitely promote your side hustle to the people that Lyft and Uber, and that's a great way to make money with your other thing as well. Number 6, have a tip jar and sign. Now, I want to say first and foremost, I never did this. I never will do this. I am not a big fan of it. However, I know a lot of other Lyft and Uber drivers who do this, and they love it. And that is basically have a tip jar and sign in your car. A big thing to do is basically get a piece of paper. I've seen some really funny ones. Get it laminated just so it looks really professional. And what they do is they hang it over the back seat, and on it says, tips are not expected, but they're appreciated. And then I've even had some people put some funny things on there, like every time you tip, me, a Justin Bieber fan dies, or something like that. I've seen some really weird ones, But honestly, I've heard of a lot of drivers making a lot of side cash just from that. I've also heard of other drivers basically having a jar in basically their center console right here, and it basically just says tips appreciated. They put a couple bucks in there and some change, and they might get tips throughout the night. And I've heard of some drivers taking $20, $30 extra in tips, driving for a few hours. Obviously, this can definitely vary on who you get. Sometimes even how drunk somebody is. I got one person to pay me or give me a tip of $10. I didn't even ask him. I was driving them around, and they were being a bit obnoxious, and I didn't care. And at the end, the guy's like, what, man, you were a cool driver. You didn't care that we were a bit obnoxious. Here's $10. I was like, oh, well, sweet, So anyway, that's a good way to make some side cash. Although I will say I don't do the whole tip jar and sign thing, but I do know a lot of people who do. And lastly, number 7, join both apps. Now, obviously in this video, from the title to everything I'm saying, I always say, here's how to make more money with Lyft and Uber. Obviously not just singling out one of them. And the truth is, when it comes to both apps, in terms of even the referral structure, if you refer people, to the surge rates, to the bonus structures, to all these different other weird perks they have, each app is very different in terms of how they run everything. And when you sign up with both apps, you honestly get the best of both worlds. And that's something I cannot suggest enough. Definitely sign up with both apps. I have a link listed below if you want to sign up with either Lyft or Uber. Obviously, I will say there are referral links, being transparent, So if you do sign up, it does help me out a little bit. But either way, I'd still suggest to sign up with Lyft and Uber regardless if you click on my links or not. Especially because the apps, and you'll even notice this when you sign up with both, the apps sometimes will even compete with each other. I remember in St. Patty's Day, a couple years ago back in Boston when I was driving, they had a thing where they said, okay, on Uber was like, this weekend for St. Patty's Day weekend, if you drive, we'll guarantee you minimum $30 to $5 an hour. And then Lyft literally texted me 5 minutes later. They're like, we're going to give you an hourly guarantee of $40 an hour. And then Uber was like, we're we changed our mind. We're actually going to give you an hourly guarantee of 45. And I honestly feel like they were looking at what each other was doing and trying to almost outbid each other. And obviously, as a driver, you win when they have that almost bidding war or that bonus war.